Hello everybody, my name is Waddles. I hope you're doing well today, and oh boy, I am very excited to start what we're starting today. I think it's going to be huge, and I think you guys are going to love it. But first, with such a special huge occasion, I think we should set a pretty large goal for, this special day. On last week's Hero of the Village video, I set a like goal of 11, and you all absolutely demolished that like goal with now over 1.3k likes as of the recording of this video. Today, I think we'll set a like goal of something a little more difficult, something like 12. So let's see if we can beat and smash that like goal again. You know what to do. Minecraft is a game all about building. I've been playing this game for, at least 7 years now, and I have my fair share of experience in building ideas. Almost every single day I receive a comment on one of my videos asking for some build tips. Up until now, I've been trying to just reply back to those comments and, give out some tips. But today marks the beginning of what will be a multi-part series on my channel on city building. In this series, we'll be going over city build tips. I'll be building the city and recording the series in 1.13.2, but this will pretty much apply for any version on any platform. The series will also be community driven, so look out for posts on my community tab relating to this series. More on that at the end of the video. But I think that's a long enough intro for today's video. The topic of today's episode will be city prep and city planning. I'll leave timestamps to the major portions of this video down in the description below. With all of that being said, let's jump into the series and today's topic. Where to start? Cities and bases are absolutely essential to this game. For me, they're one of the funnest things to build and work towards. When building a city, the first place you're going to need to start is your vision, your inspiration. You need to come up with what you're trying to build. This is something that only you can do, but I do have some advice, and the advice should hopefully help you in answering the question, what am I trying to build? To build an amazing city, you are going to need to have a clear idea of what you're going for. What I mean by this is, are you going for a medieval town? Are you going for a futuristic city? Maybe are you going for some kind of cave base type place? Are you a redstone player who cares absolutely nothing about how things look? Well, if that's the case, then things just got a whole lot easier for you. To get the vision and your inspiration, I recommend just searching Google. Literally do a Google search of Minecraft Medieval Village or Minecraft Modern Town, something like that. Of course, look through the images, and I'm sure you'll find something amazing there that is inspirational. Some other good places to look would, of course, be YouTube. Watch videos like this one here, or anyone else who's building anything. The Minecraft subreddit or even the Minecraft website can be even more great places to find inspiration. Inspiration can really be anywhere though. Maybe it's in your favorite movie, maybe it's in your favorite book. Either way, before diving into your city building, come up with a clear and distinct vision. Okay, so you got the hardest step done. You have the vision, you know what you want to do. Well, it's time to move on. Where are you going to build this city? This is very, 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 did I say very important. Location is always key. If you're going for something like, let's say, a Wild West desert themed town, building in this plains biome right next to the ocean is probably not ideal at all. If you plan on building some sort of ancient dwarven mountain town or something interesting like that, this mountain biome right in front of us would probably do just fine. This step can take some time, but it's pretty easy. Find somewhere in your world that fits your theme idea. If I were trying to build a logging town, maybe I'd find a forest. If I were trying to build some kind of oceanside town, of course I'd find a beach somewhere with a nice looking ocean. But on the flip side of that, many building themes can work pretty much anywhere in your world. When looking for the location of my base or my city, I look for something that is really really cool and unique and also inspirational. So something like this mountain. I tend to take a lot of inspiration in the amazingly weird and odd world generation that this game has. I can picture a city on either side of this river and something on the mountain. Maybe a statue, a face, a bridge even going up the mountain, and then perhaps a lookout tower above the clouds on the top of this mountain. You're looking for really anywhere in your world that looks interesting to you. So again, this is really another step that is all up to you, and it's one of those beauty is in the eye of the beholder thing. If you like plains biomes, then build there. If you like, birch forests, then maybe the birch forest is where you should be building. If you like swamp biomes and the nasty watercolor, well, then that's probably going to be good for you. But my biggest tip here is look for something inspirational, something cool, something unique. The world generation in Minecraft is so unpredictable, and sometimes building on or near those crazy weird generation things can help inspire and make your builds even better than they would have been without that random floating island or something like that. Alright, so you've got your inspiration, you have your location. What's next? Well, next I recommend picking some sort of block palette. If you don't know, a block palette is basically a collection of blocks that look well together. So for example, right here I have what I would call a medieval block palette, just blocks that kind of fit the theme of some sort of medieval town. Right over here I have some blocks that would fit the theme of maybe a logging town. And then finally, over here I have some blocks that fit the theme of a Wild West town. These palettes can really be whatever blocks you like so long as they don't involve diorite. Your build should never utilize diorite because it is just absolutely horrendous and is going to downgrade your build by miles. I mean, honestly, we have all of these blocks in here, like so many choices, and you chose diorite? Really? Like diorite? What were you thinking? It's just not a good idea. Okay, I'm kidding. Really though, seriously, the block choices are up to you. A good way to pick blocks that look good together is by looking at the colors. So if you're using vanilla textures or if you're using a texture pack, this is pretty much going to be the same thing. Whatever blocks are close in color usually are going to work well together. So let's say we have stripped spruce logs and then spruce planks and then maybe dark oak logs as well, because the dark oak color is similar to the spruce, and then maybe even, I don't know, some coarse dirt, and let's find a terracotta. So I mean, I don't know, gray terracotta looks pretty close to all of these colors. So there we go, we have this as our block palette. All of these colors are similar and they will probably work pretty well together. Play around with those blocks for just a few seconds and you'll figure out if you actually do like those blocks together or not. The blocks that I picked, I think, actually work pretty well together. Again, I'm just looking at the colors of things and trying to find out what is similar to what. But you should notice that every block here is not the same color. I have the stone and the cobblestone that is similar, then I have the woods that are all the same, and then I have this white wool block as well. Making your color palette all one color is probably not going to be a good idea in the grand scheme of things, and it definitely won't be a good idea if your build ends up being very large. All of these browns might work well together on a small scale, but if this build were to get absolutely gigantic, like something crazy, eventually you're going to get just a large brown build, which might not look too interesting. A great way to find a good block palette is, again, looking at pictures of other builds or looking at YouTubers' videos and just kind of mimicking whatever they're doing. And then again, as you may have realized by now, common theme of this video is you. Look at yourself and decide what blocks you like. If you really love diorite, then use diorite in your block palette. If you absolutely love dark oak wood like me, then start with that, So I like dark oak wood, then usually I go maybe cobble. That kind of looks cool together, and then I don't know, I do tend to really enjoy the look of the white wool, so maybe some white wool and maybe white concrete as well. Basically just start picking blocks, placing them down, and see how they look together. Some blocks look better together than others, but usually you can make almost any block work with other blocks if you just use them right. And of course, we will be getting into using blocks right in this series, so stick around for that. Now take note of these 3 palettes here because I'll be coming back to this in a little bit. Medieval, logging, and western. So just remember those 3 things, and let's move on to the final segment of today's episode. Okay, so we have the vision, we have the location, and we know what blocks we're thinking about using. Let's talk about planning our city. I never recommend just jumping into a city build or any large-scale build and just placing things down. Planning is always key. What I recommend doing is grabbing some kind of block that you don't really plan on using, and also a block that stands out from the environment. So I'm using stone right here. A block that I would not recommend is dirt, because dirt will be overtaken by the grass and turn into grass. I recommend building rough shapes or outlines for your buildings. So let's say this is my location. I love this mountain. I love the river. I just think this would be a cool spot. Starting your town by marking out rough locations of buildings will help you a lot. If you decide to mark out where you're thinking about doing buildings, you'll start to see, okay, maybe I could have, I don't know, like a main road coming down here, and then maybe this main road goes over and into a bridge in the mountain. So I'll mark out a bridge, and this marking can really be done however you think you can remember it. So if I do this and I can remember that's a bridge, that's all I need to do. I also highly recommend going with signs and labeling things. So let's say I think this should be a small house. We'll make a sign and say small house. Then over here, maybe we want, I don't know, a bakery, right? A bakery kind of near the river would be kind of cool. So we'll say bakery. Then maybe over here we'll say, I don't know, like a checkpoint building going out near the bridge. Another big thing to consider is, do you want your village to be on a grid system or a more randomized old European style system? If you like grids, then obviously place your buildings in grid shapes. If you like randomized systems, I recommend spacing your buildings out a little bit and saving some main roads, but placing some builds more diagonal from each other. This is totally up to you. Again, personal taste. Place your buildings, do your shapes however you'd like. And on the note of shapes, the shapes should be really rough. You really don't need to overthink things and say, okay, I need, 10 blocks here, 7 there, or whatever. Just get a rough idea of what you're doing. Really, the point here is organization. If you plan ahead like this and start to organize your town, once you really get into the building, you'll change things, you'll adjust things, things will move a little bit, and that's absolutely fine, and honestly, what should happen. Your village should always be evolving and changing as you go. That goes for any build in Minecraft. If you plan everything on step 1, you're gonna get bored. Eventually, you'll start copying things over and over again, and yeah, things just get old, stale, and not very cool. So just have some fun and play with the shapes. The final big tip that I have here is these rough shapes, try different things, right? I have a triangle over there, which might not work out too well. Then I have this weird rounded square thing, then some L-shaped buildings, rectangles, and of course squares. To make your town very interesting, the buildings are going to need to be different shapes. So while marking out your town and your positionings of your buildings, try to make each building outline different than the last. So I just built a rectangle, and that means my next building, so maybe over here, should be a circle, just not a rectangle again. Repeating the same shape over and over again is boring and will not make your town very, very amazing or anything cool like that. You totally could build a cool town out of all square buildings, but building a town out of different shaped buildings will make your town look a whole lot cooler in the end. So, a condensed form of today's episode. Step 1, vision. Figure out what you're trying to build, a medieval town or a modern town. Step 2, location. Find a good spot in your world that inspires you and looks really, really cool. Step 3, block palettes. Pick some good blocks. Pick blocks that go well together and blocks that you like. And then step 4, start planning out your city by placing blocks in a rough outline of where you think things will go. Try to avoid repeating the same shape over and over again, and use signs to help label your builds. Eventually, you'll have buildings that do different things. Everything shouldn't be a house. And of course, using signs to label this will help you down the road once you don't know where to go next. Now, earlier in the video, I told you to remember the 3 build styles: medieval, logging, or western. I will be running a poll on my community tab as to which style I should go with in this series. So, if you're interested in that, go look. As soon as this video is posted, that poll will also be posted. So go vote in that, and that's what style we'll go with in episode 2. Episode 2 will be all about the buildings themselves. My goal for that episode is to teach you about buildings, my building tips, and just how to make things cool. I hope you enjoyed today's wordy episode. All episodes won't be this wordy, I promise you. But if you enjoyed my rambling, make sure you drop a like and consider subscribing for more. I will be making a playlist for this series. If you're watching this down the road, that playlist might already be on the end slide. If you like what I do and you'd like to support me directly, I do have a Patreon link down below where you can do so. If you choose to do so, you'll get some of my videos early and, of course, gain access to the Dangercraft Patreon server. If you're planning on setting up a server, use code Waddles with CubeToast. Their server hosting service is absolutely amazing, and if you use that code, you'll save 25% on your first month. My name is Waddles. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody. Go have a good day.